So I've had the Weebill S for a while, and we're going to talk about if you should upgrade your Weebill S to the Zhiyun Cinepeer Weebill 3E. So Zhiyun just came out with a brand new gimbal, the Zhiyun Cinepeer Weebill 3E. Now I've had their gimbals in the past, specifically I have really enjoyed the Zhiyun Weebill S. Now this came out in 2019 and it is now 5 years later, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at this gimbal and if it's worth upgrading to the 5-year newer version, the Cinepeer Weebill 3E. The built-in battery is really nice because you don't have to grab extra gear in your bag, and the more gear you acquire, the less and less stuff you need for each piece of gear. So having my battery built in, I can charge it all in one piece is really nice. I appreciate that. They do have USB-C now on everything on this gimbal, which is something they did not have with the Weebill S. So having just one port for everything is much appreciated. And I don't have to worry about grabbing extra gear, making sure that these batteries are charged in this separate thing. I also could lose this and then I have to buy that extra part. So just having less things with my gimbal is much appreciated with this new version, and you can tell overall the 5 years of improvement from the Weebill S to the Weebill 3E is definitely noticeable. The first thing that I really like is the build quality of the axes, and it's just the lock mechanisms. So on the Weebill S, I really appreciated them adding the lock mechanism. It made balancing my gimbal so easy in the past, but they've just extended the quality of those lock axes, and I'm now able to, you know, play around with this, and it does feel a lot more sturdy, and it doesn't feel like these pieces are gonna go anywhere. The grip on the Zhiyun Cinepeer Weebill 3E has also been improved. It is a nice rubbery grip now versus a more crappy, you know, plastic feel. So this feels much better in the hand, and it really fits a little bit more ergonomically on the side here, kind of having my hand rotated around here. Versus the Weebill 3S, you have all of your joysticks and controls where your hand is. So like a lot of the times when you're shooting, you kind of touch this stuff by accident. The design has just been refined over the last 5 years, and I do appreciate these upgrades. So on the Weebill 3S, you did have USB-C as well as a micro USB for connecting your cables. On the Cinepeer Weebill 3E, you do have USB-C throughout the device. Now, speaking of Bluetooth, you do have that on the Zhiyun Cinepeer Weebill 3E versus the Zhiyun Weebill S. So again, with Bluetooth, it does reduce the amount of cables that you need in your bag, as well as really refine your filming process when you're using this gimbal. So now when I am filming, I don't have to have a cable, and I don't have to touch my camera to be able to record something. So that is really nice, because on this gimbal, if I don't have a cable on it, I would have to touch the record button on my camera. And then first of all, when that kind of ruins the footage for the first little while, because I gotta hold it with one hand, press the button, and then keep filming, and then I can get some smooth footage after a while. So I do have to waste some time. Or maybe I see a shot during a wedding video, and I don't have time to be able to capture that moment. So I'm capturing something like a little bit wobbly, versus this one, if I see something, I can press the record button and now I can record. I don't have any weird movement with my gimbal. Having the larger screens makes it much easier for navigating the menus, as well as making sure that everything is lined up with my modes. Having that larger screen just makes it more convenient for myself. So that is something that I have appreciated, and I'm very welcomed addition to this gimbal. So the next reason is a huge reason why you should upgrade your gimbals, is being able to shoot in portrait mode. Now on this gimbal, you do not have the option to shoot in portrait, so if you did ever want to use your camera, you would have to be able to crop it, and that just makes it a little bit difficult when you're specifically shooting for portrait. Reducing the amount of equipment that I have is vital for, you know, prepping for video shoots, commercial shoots, wedding shoots, whatever I'm doing. Having easy equipment is great. So now being able to shoot horizontal and portrait footage on my gimbal with not having any additional plates or accessories is huge. So now I put the bracket on for the portrait mode, and I'm able to balance my gimbal that way. No extra accessories, and I am done. Having 5 years of improvement of Zhiyun honing in their skills and updating their algorithms is is noticeable improvement. And with the Zhiyun Weebill Cinepeer 3E, it's really nice to have the most updated version to make sure that your footage is as buttery smooth as possible. And I really like that, and I appreciate that, especially when I'm filming, because with these pieces of equipment, I rely on them. When I'm shooting wedding videos, I need these gimbals to perform at the best possible production that I can get. So these are the quick release plates on the Weebill S and the Cinepeer Weebill 3E. Now, the one thing I like about the new quick release plate is that there's only one piece. It is simpler and there's less moving parts, which is very much appreciated. The one thing I don't like is when you do take this off the gimbal, you do have to rebalance your gimbal every single time. Now on the old one, there's a quick release plate where you could just take the top off and the gimbal would stay balanced on your gimbal, which I did really appreciate. The nice thing is that these brackets are the exact same size from the base plate, so you're able to actually swap them and use them on each gimbal. So if you do really like the Weebill S quick release plate versus the new one, you can just swap it over and you're able to use it, no issues towards you. So one thing I miss about the gimbal is having sling mode activated with this tripod mount on the Weebill S. I can take this tripod off and put it on the top with no problems. There's a screw in for me to put it on both sides. I really appreciate that for when I'm filming, because if I need to shoot low, I can just put that on automatically. So what Zhiyun has done instead is to create a sling and wrist rest for the gimbal, which you can buy as an attachment sold separately. So that sling and wrist rest does attach at the bottom, and then you're able to have your tripod as well as the sling. Now, what's really cool about that is they have designed it to reduce the amount of strain that you have on your wrist by up to 40%. That's a huge thing when you're filming for a long time and you're on the shoot for 8-10 hours. So overall, is it worth upgrading the Zhiyun Weebill S to the Zhiyun Weebill 3E? I think there's a significant push to say that it is. The craftsmanship has improved drastically. Creating less moving parts is amazing. Being able to shoot in portrait mode is huge. Having a built-in battery to be able to worry about less things going wrong. Having clean, smooth footage for your work is huge. And I'm a big proponent of these Zhiyun gimbals. I've had a great experience over the last 5 years using this. I've used it in weddings, commercial shoots. So I'm very excited to continue using the Zhiyun Weebill Cinepeer 3E and to continue to see how this new gimbal is going to work in my workflow and just making my life easier by having less things. This is the brand new Zhiyun Cinepeer 3E. If you want to pick it up today, check out the links in the description below. I think you're gonna be really excited with it. So I'll see you in the next video. I want to help you out just like I would my brother.